Natasha Kennedy is here, your realtor for Washington, D.C. area, and I would like to give an update and let you know that as of August 1st, 2015, we're going to have a new HUD-1. It's a settlement sheet and new good faith estimate from lenders. How is it going to affect buyers and sellers? In my opinion, the biggest issue could come up is according to new rules, you would have to have 3 days for the review to any change that's done. Which means, if you do a walkthrough before the settlement, usually it's done like 1 day before the settlement, and you say, okay, well, there are some things are not fixed yet, and we come to the settlement table and we decide whether the seller is going to fix it or give some money for fixes, or we delay settlement by a day or so. Now, any changes done would have to be approved by the lender and the other parties, and it has to be at least 3 days. So saying that, stuff would need to be done in advance. Also, if you in Washington, D.C. area and you're buying a property in Washington, D.C. area, pick a local lender. That's my advice for sellers. If you see that there is not a local bank, when you receive an offer and the buyer has a pre-approval letter from a lender from somewhere in Ohio or let's say Seattle, Washington, which is there's a time difference as well. Imagine how it's going to easy, in quotes, to reach the lender when the change comes to approve new settlement statement. So what I see is, I see delays in settlements, I see increasing time for the settlement in contracts. Let's say if before we could close within 30 days from the day of ratification of the contract, the day of ratification is when all parties agrees to all the terms. Now I think we would have to do, instead of 30 days, like 40 to 45 days, just to give us time for errors and delays. That's the biggest drawback I see in new changes. But obviously it's going to be more clear. Everybody will know what's coming up in advance, because the settlement statement will have to be presented to the buyer 3 days, I think 72 hours before the settlement as well. Not on the day of the settlement, where everybody's frantically waiting. When are we going to see? What is our bottom line? How big the check do I need to bring to the settlement? And sellers also saying, okay, how big is my check going to be after the settlement? And usually it happens a couple hours before the settlement. Or if the lender is good and the title company is good, that happens a day before. That's the best outcome. That's another thing. Talk to your realtor and ask the advice about picking a specific lender and a title company, because it has to be a good team. Otherwise, the deal will fall apart. If you have questions, call me, email me, or text me. Again, my name is Natasha Kennedy, and I'm your realtor for Washington, D.C. area.